Okay. I don't know. Oops, sorry.
Don't remember seeing Vishamber or anything in there.
I didn't put.
Okay. And then. Okay. And then Osei Shalom.
Osei Shalom.
Are you going to play during IMT or no? Probably not.
I don't know. I would like to. Do you want to? Can you take out the Torah? Like Michelle's going to open the ark. Do you want to actually lift it out and carry it?
Sure.
Okay. So then I can say.
Yeah, I just know the words. Which is this? I know it's right before. Where is it?
No. This is actually twice, but the end. Good?
Sure.
It'll be great. We're trying to be Gabriel. We're not, but we're close.
No one has ever been.
But we'll give it a try. Okay. Sherry, oh, okay. No. I asked Joanne and Suzanne to light the candles. Joanne, yeah, to light the candles. Yeah. Okay. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. It's good to see you. We're doing a classic, I think, West End Temple 20 minutes late start, but that's okay. We're here for Shabbat. So glad to be here with everyone. The words to this beautiful song are Shabbat Shalom and Yalalai, so not too hard. And thanks to Liv for joining me at the last minute as our Shani, our cantor soloist here. And we're excited to celebrate Shabbat. Yalai, lai, 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 yalai, lai, 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 yalai, lai, 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 yalai, 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 lai, 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 yalai, lai, yalai, lai, yalai, 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 Shabbat Shalom, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Beautiful. Let's bring in the lights of Shabbat with the lighting of the Shabbat candles. So Suzanne and Joanne, please come on up. and Jeanette. What did I say? Oh, I think I accidentally rhymed with Suzanne. I'm not sure what happened there. Sorry, Jeanette. Okay, come on up and let's turn to the blessing on page 2.
You gotta hold it there for a while.
Everyone, if you want, you can take your hands and circle them over the lights. Are you still getting it?
There we go. It takes a village.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lechad lifner shel Shabbat. Shabbat shalom. Thank you so much.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Thank you. Beautiful, everyone. Let's turn to page 12 as we continue with Lechuna Ranana, a song of joy to Adonai. About the fields and everything in them, singing to God. Ya'alo Sadai Bechol Asher Bo Ya'alo Sadai Ay 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 Ya'alo Sadai Bechol Asher Bo Ya'alo Sadai. Let's welcome the Sabbath bride with the singing of Lecha Dodi, page 20. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat mekabela. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala. Shabbat nekavela lecha dodi likrat kala pene Shabbat nekavela. Verse 5. Itoreri, itoreri, kiva orech kumi ori. Uri, uri, shir daveri, kevod Adonai alayich nigla, lecha dodi, likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekavela, lecha dodi, likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekavela. We rise and face the door to welcome the Sabbath beloved. Boi v'shalom atzeret la'ala, gam b'simcha u'b'tzor olam, tov emunei am segula, boi chala, boi chala. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekavela. Let me hear everyone yell it like, yai, 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 Lovely. Such a good song. Oh, wait, stay standing because it is time for the purposeful schmooze, where you must leave your seat, go find someone else that you did not come with, and find out something great that happened in that person's week, and maybe something not so great that they want to leave aside. But find out how someone's week was. How was your week, Liv?
My week was okay.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time with Abigail and Isabella together, and it was so cool to like see them. Yeah, and also just like it just like fate. I was at Robin's house hanging out with Isabella for like 4 hours on Tuesday, and then we went to lunch today together with the four of us. So I don't get to see Isabella a lot, so when I do, it's like she like opens up after the first hour, so it's very nice. One thing I'd like to leave behind this week, falling behind on my personal hygiene. Because sometimes you're like, no, I don't want to take care of myself, and then you're like, oh, now I feel nasty. Oh no, I gotta take care of myself again.
It's a lifelong process.
Yeah. How are you?
I did manage to take a shower. I went to dance class today, which I love, so that was awesome.
Oh, like for you or for the kids?
For me.
Oh wow. What kind of dance is it?
It's called Gaga. It's like it's kind of like an improv where the teacher's just telling you what to do the whole time, and you just like keep going. He like gives you different improvs and stuff.
That's fun.
It's really fun. And my husband bought me flowers. That was really nice. What do I want to leave behind? There are some like dynamics this week.
Yep.
I'd like to leave behind.
It's made the rounds.
Totally. So we're gonna say goodbye to that.
Yeah.
We're happy that it's Shabbat.
I mean, I don't think we'll say goodbye to the executive board meeting.
Yes, we will.
Yeah.
So anyway, thanks for singing tonight. It's been really fun.
Yeah.
Having a great time.
It's been a while.
Yeah. All right, everyone. Let's come back. Does anyone have oh, Scott's ready. Once you get them started schmoozing, they can't stop. What did I ask for? Like something good in your week and something that good that happened in your week, and then something that you would like to leave behind from this week. Your daughter. Yeah. 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 That's so great.
People on Zoom.
Everyone,
I hope
let's
you had a good
rise
week.
for the Baruch Hu, page 28. Please rise. Let's be seated, everyone, as we turn to page 34 for Shema. I find this prayer to be extremely comforting because it reminds me of the oneness of everything, how everything is connected, and because of that, the hugeness of that oneness, it means that if there are things that I can't understand, I don't have to hold them myself. That something bigger is holding them, and I am just a part of that bigger thing. So as we think about the things that we want to let go of in this week, I think the Shema can help us find that we can just let them go into that oneness and let whatever that is, that however we think of that which is bigger than ourselves, can hold that which we can't understand, we want to let go of. Shema. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha B'chol levavcha v'chol nafshecha ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה, אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם emet. Turn to page 40 for Micha Mocha. I think we're bringing back a tune that has been, but hasn't been for a while.
When Rabbi Epstein played it for me this evening, memories flush back from Hebrew school.
From Hebrew
I don't remember exactly when, probably during the tenure of Cantor Jen Rubin, just because it's almost always that, but I hope everyone else remembers. So I hope people remember too. It's great. It's a great tune.
That's awesome. Well, as student cantor Gabriel would say, it's kind of a bop. Let's see if you know it, we'll see. If you hear it and you know it, put up your hand so I know, and then we can go from there. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh, mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh. Nora tehilot osef eleh, Nora tehilot osef eleh, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Malechutecha u'anecha, bokei hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, ze'elianu ve'amru, ze'elianu ve'amru, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh, mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh. Nora tehilot osef eleh, Nora tehilot osef eleh, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. We rise as we turn to page 46 for the Amidah. We'll sing the opening words and then move into the first two prayers, after which we will pray silently through to page 62.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanorah El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim Bechonei HaKol V'Zocher HaTzeavot V'Imahot U'Mevi Gula Lifnei Bneihem Leman Shemo B'Yahava Melech Ozer Moshiach U'Magin Baruch atah Adonai Magin Abraham V'Ezrat Sarah Atah Gibor Elam Adonai Mechayei HaKol Matarav Lehoshia Mashiv HaRuach U'Morid HaGashem Mechalkel Chayim V'Chesed Mechayei HaKol V'Rachamim Rabim Somech Noflim V'Rofei Kolim U'Matzir Asurim U'Mekayim Emunato Lishenei Afar Michamocha Ba'al Geburot U'Midom Elach Melech Menid U'Mechayim U'Matzmiach Yeshua B'Nemana Talach HaChayot HaKol Baruch atah Adonai Mechayei HaAvot.
I'm in this weird stage with reading glasses where I just don't know whether I'm supposed to wear them and not, and where I'm supposed to look. It's very weird. So we're going to do it without. We'll see what happens. Yeah, that's true. Right, okay, make an appointment. Okay. I don't know about you, but most of the time, the news is too much to take in. The news of the war in Ukraine took me by surprise, and since it began, I have done a lot of mindless scrolling through the news. The shocking news of civilians being targeted, of President Zelensky holed up somewhere, still leading his people and shaping other nations' responses with his words, NATO ramping up its defenses, I find that it often simply washes over me and I just feel numb to it. That changed, though, earlier this week when I read the New York Times story featuring 4 Ukrainian women who escaped with their children and are now refugees. The article was by Sabrina Tavernise and was called, "I Don't Have the Right to Cry. Ukrainian Women Share Their Stories of Escape." I read it this past Monday night while standing in the safety of my kitchen with a well-fed stomach, my children tucked safely in bed, and surrounded by the city that never sleeps, but is in comparison extremely peaceful. Tavernise summed up the women's experience with this description of their mindset. One day you are driving to the dentist. The next day you are whispering with strangers in a dark basement. It is a moment when instinct to save your children, to get through the next checkpoint, takes over and emotions are blocked. Finally, it is the shocking realization that suddenly and unwillingly you are a refugee, dependent on the generosity of strangers, no longer a middle-class person in charge of your own life. I was moved to tears when I read these stories about how they decided when they had to leave, about what they saw and experienced on their journey, and what their thoughts were once they escaped into safety. One woman reflected on her experience as compared to others who stayed, to soldiers, to others who have suffered greater losses. And she said, "I don't have the right to cry." It was overwhelming to think about these women as representative of just a tiny, tiny sliver of the human experience of suffering in this horrible conflict right now. And so I have felt numb and nothingness when I think about Ukraine, and now I have felt overwhelmed. And so my question to myself this week really was, what should I do? What is my task as a Jew and as a human being in this time? There are certain verses that I turn to over and over again in life. Perhaps you have a verse like this, or a saying or a maxim that you think about. I would love to know what those are. One of mine comes from Pirkei Avot, which is a second century section of the Mishnah, which translates sayings of the fathers. Chapter 2, verse 16 states that Rabbi Tarfon taught, "Lo alecha hamlacha ligmor v'lo ata ben chorin lehivatel mimena." You are not expected to complete the task, but neither are you at liberty to neglect it. In other words, one individual person is not responsible for completing a huge task, but that same individual may not choose to simply neglect it. So when it comes to alleviating the suffering we are seeing as a result of this war, we are not and we cannot be responsible for solving this whole problem. That would be impossible. Each of us is only one person with many other responsibilities, pressures, and tasks at hand. And yet, our tradition teaches we are not at liberty to neglect it. We must do something, even if it feels like a drop in the bucket. I believe that God works in mysterious ways. This week, 2 temple members approached me with ways to help. I put these ways into the temple email, and I want to share them with you tonight. The first way was something that Suzanne brought to my attention, and it's called Project Kesher. Project Kesher is an organization devoted to building Jewish community through empowering women leaders. And their Ukraine project involves supporting their network of Ukrainian women leaders who are assisting women and children there who have been uprooted. There is a website set up that you can donate. Before Shabbat started, Barak and I made a donation, so I invite you to join me. The second way is through St. Francis de Sales Church. They have been helping a Ukrainian mother and her 2 children, refugees from the war, settle into the community. The mother, Katerina, and her 2 children, who are 3 and 6, Elizabeth and Eugene, are currently living with Katerina's mother-in-law, who lives in the Rockaways. So that's how they came to be in our community. Father Jim Cunningham and I spoke, and they're in need. They already have plenty of clothes, but they're in need of school supplies such as crayons and markers and notebooks and pencils, and then any gift cards to help their mother-in-law amp up their different supplies that they need in the house, Target and Kohl's and Bed Bath & Beyond. These people came with only a suitcase. And so it's possible now you can drop off donations and gift cards here in our office, and we will make sure that the church gets them to the family. With President Biden's announcement that the U.S. will commit to welcoming 100,000 Ukrainian refugees, I can only imagine that this will be the beginning of opportunities to help in that way. And with Passover coming soon, the notion that we as Jews welcome and protect the stranger because we were strangers in the land of Egypt, it starts to resonate very greatly. Lo alecha hamlacha ligmor, velo ata ben chorin lehivatel mimena. You are not expected to complete the task, but neither are you at liberty to neglect it. It reminds me of the famous story of the starfish on the beach. It all started when a young girl was walking along a beach upon which thousands of starfish had been washed up during a terrible storm. When she came to each starfish, she would pick it up and throw it back in the ocean. She had been doing this for some time when a man approached her and said, "Little girl, why are you doing this? Look at the beach. You can't save all these starfish." The girl seemed crushed. But after a few moments, she bent down, she picked up another starfish, and she hurled it as far as she could into the ocean. Then she looked up at the man and replied, "Well, I made a difference for that one." The old man looked at the girl, thought about what she had done, and said, he then joined the little girl in throwing starfish back into the sea. I hope you will join me in committing not to sink into numbness or to overwhelm when we think about this conflict and all of the suffering. Together, let us find small ways of helping, knowing that we are doing our part at this enormous but hugely important task. Shabbat Shalom. We're going to continue now with Seder Kriyat HaTorah, the service for the reading of the Torah. And I'd like to invite Michelle, before you sit down, to come on up and open the Torah from the Ark. Please rise. stay standing for 1 minute while we get the Torah ready. I just move this.
Yes.
Okay.
Whatever you have to do.
Usually we have these cute little boy assistants here that help us, but they are not here.
My niece is almost this heavy. It's practice. Almost as heavy and just as long.
So then what I do is I put my hand like under the thing. So you put your hand like right on the belt right there, and then I can just like, take it off. Hold it. That's it. Put it down. That's it. Beautiful. Okay, maybe seated, everyone. Thank you. I'm just gonna move this.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, now I definitely need my glasses. So we are in the Torah portion called Shmini. It's the third Torah portion in the book of Leviticus, and we're going to be on page 712 in our Chumash. And you might have noticed that we put a picture of a cow on the front of the pamphlet. And the reason that we did that is because in this week's Torah portion, we learn about the laws of kashrut, of keeping kosher for the first time in the Torah, or the first time explicitly, I should say. So we learn about all of the land animals that you're allowed to eat, and you learn about all of the various swarming and teeming things that you're not supposed to eat from the land and from the sea. And it says in the Torah that this is something that has to do with God's holiness. And it's really interesting because, like many things in the Torah, there's not really a reason that's given as to why. There are many ideas about this, right? Like perhaps it was a method of keeping people healthy at a time when there wasn't refrigeration. Perhaps it was a way of keeping the society distinct from other societies so that you could only eat with people of your society and not so much with others. And we still see that today, right? As a boundary that's created around people who keep kosher between people, who keep kosher and others who don't, and in terms of where they can eat and where they feel comfortable, etc. One of the lessons that I think I'd like to draw from it, though, is just really thinking about the notion of thinking about mindful eating, of what are we putting into our bodies. Are we sort of mindlessly just eating our food and not really paying attention? Can we cultivate more gratitude for the abundance that we have in our life? Most of us, thank God, and really appreciate the bounty that we have and see that its connection to the world around us and to its original divine source. So when we read the Torah tonight, I'd love for everyone to just think about that. Whatever keeping kosher means to you, whether it's something that feels really far away and distant, or whether it's something that feels really near and close and familiar, I think the Torah still gives us an opportunity to really think about what we're eating and how that act of eating can connect us to our spirituality as a whole. So page 712, if anyone would like to come on up for the blessing for the Torah, please do. I would love to have you come on up for the Aliyah to the Torah. Hey, Lori. All right.
Just gonna move the.
Oh my gosh, yes. Okay, we had a birth in our community this week. Baby Mikey was born to Meredith and Michael Dumig. So Lori is a new aunt. Yeah.
Not new, but again.
Aunt again. Amazing. So nice. Glad you're here. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Asher bachar banu mikol hamim, v'natan lanu et Torato, Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Vayidaber Adonai el Moshe ve'el Aharon le'mor aleihem dabru el bnei Yisrael le'mor zot hachaya asher tochlu mikol habehema asher al haaretz kol mefarsot parsa v'sa'at shasa parsat ma'alat gera babehema ota tochelu.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam natan b'tochenu Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Beautiful. In the presence of our Torah, I just want to give everyone a blessing that you have a beautiful Shabbat, a Shabbat of peace, a Shabbat of enjoying your new birth in your family. And as we consider the notion of mindful eating, may you find gratitude and joy in your eating during the Shabbat and going forward. So thank you. Yeah, many blessings. Okay. So there's a little bit of a weird order here, but I think we'll, so we're doing Misha Beirach, and we actually have to trust the Torah, and then there's like this before we put it back, so.
Which is like prayer for the community or something?
Prayer for the new month, yeah, so I'll just read it, but yeah. Our thoughts turn now to those in our lives who are in need of healing, of body, mind, spirit. And inside our pamphlet for tonight, you can find the names of those for whom we are praying in our community. And if you'd like to share the name of anyone for whom you are praying, please do so. From Zoom. Okay. And then from our Zoom community, Joanne and Don Sorgan. Thank you. And grab my guitar. I'd like to call upon Stacy and Scott to lift and dress the Torah. Then we're going to continue after that, before we put the Torah away, with a blessing for our new month. So please rise as we lift and dress the Torah. So we'll get it all dressed, and then you can hold it while we Remain standing as we turn to page 261. In the presence of our Torah, we say, Yehi ratzon milfanecha Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, shetechadesh aleinu et hachodesh haba letova ve'livracha, v'titen lanu chayim arukim, chayim shel shalom, chayim shel parnasa, chayim shetehevanu ahavat Torah v'yirat shamayim, chayim sheyimal'u mish'alot libenu letova. We say Amen. Our God and God of our ancestors, may the new month bring us goodness and blessing. May we have a long life, peace and prosperity, a life exalted by love of Torah and reverence for the divine, a life in which the longings of our hearts are fulfilled for good. Rosh Chodesh Nisan Yihya B'Yom Shabbat. The new month of Nisan will begin on next Shabbat. So that is a month of Passover. It's coming, and I know it's hard to believe, but get ready for your matzah, get ready for your manish tana. It's all coming. Beautiful. Okay, so we return now the Torah to the Ark. Page 256. Oops, sorry. Page 282.
Aleinu l'shabeach Adon hakol, לתת קרבה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו
It is a fearful thing to love what death can touch, a fearful thing to love, hope, dream, to be, and oh, to lose. A thing for fools this, and a holy thing to love. For your life has lived in me, your laugh once lifted me, your word was gift to me. To remember this brings a painful joy. 'Tis a human thing, love, a holy thing, to love what death has touched. This time we call to mind those who were taken from this existence most recently, for whom we are in the period of Shiva Shloshim, which is Debbie Badesden, dear friend of Art, and Loretta Umlas. Is anyone else in the period of Shiva or Shloshim, 30 days, or Shana, 1 year? Jacqueline? Okay. Is anyone observing a yard site this evening that's gathered here? Okay. Okay. Oh, right, yeah, also Ruth McGersey, right. In our West End community, we remember the following yard sites that are observed this Shabbat: Abraham H. Applebaum, Donald Cohen, Stanley Dobin, Fanny Du Bois, Teresa Friedman, Adolf Gunner, Abraham Halebi, Irving Katz, Mitzi Lembeck, Ann Leopold, Martin David Lasansky, Charlotte Mergentime, Howard J. Roth, Samuel San, Esther Schneider, Laurel Woden Schiman, Solomon Springarn, Elsa Bender-Stein, Rose Tepperman, Lester Trube, Rabbi Joseph Weiss, Jerome J. Wertheimer, and Solomon Wolf. We draw all of them into our hearts,
Also,
praying.
From our Zoom community, we are also remembering Larry Summer.
Thank you. We draw all of them into our hearts as we pray that their memories ever be a precious blessing. As we rise for Kaddish Yatom, the Mourner's Kaddish, page 294. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divara chirute be'yamlich malchute, b'chayechon uvyomechon u'b'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'bizaman kariv v'imiru, amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'alam u'lalmei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitrumam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shmei dekudusha b'richu. Le'elam min kol birchata b'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alama v'imru, amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imiru, amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imiru, amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all Israel, and comfort to all of the bereaved among us. And we say together, amen. Amen. You may be seated. Dr. Sherry Copeland, our president, would like to share some announcements.
Welcome, everybody. I'm glad you all joined us tonight, both on Zoom and in person. We have a few wonderful things coming up. We're celebrating the installation of Rabbi Epstein on Friday, April 8th at 6:30. Please, everyone come. We're having breaking, making, storytelling with the Oivin on April 24th from 10:30 to 2:30. We have Torah study on Saturday mornings from 9 to 10. If you are up, join us. Weekly seniors discussion group on Wednesdays from 10 to 11. And our last intergeneral Lador Vidor program is on May 15th. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
Just want to especially draw your attention to this thing called the oven. Do you get it? Oven. It's an oven, but it's oi. Yeah. So now you yeah. So this is going to be, depending if you observe 7 or 8 days of Passover, this is the day after the 8th day of Passover. And what this is they're going to be able to bring a wood-fired oven that's portable to the temple. It's going to sit outside the temple. And they are going to help us bake bread and pita and bring this whole feast. Yeah, it's going to be super amazing. They're bringing this really cool looking Israeli musician. They're going to help tell stories. It's going to be really something else. So I hope that everybody could really come. Yeah, I think it'll be really, really great. So I hope you can join us. It is part of the Lador Vado program, but don't let that phase you. I'm opening it up to everyone, so because this is going to be really cool. So should be amazing. And also I wanted to say thanks again to Liv for pinch hitting and Thomas for Zoom. All right. And let's rise, everyone, as we conclude our service with the singing of MiPL, page 328. MiPL, MiPL, Yevorach Kol Yisrael. MiPL, MiPL, Yevorach Kol Yisrael. Ein adir kadonai ve'ein baruch ve'ein amram. Ein gedola katorah ve'ein doshaneha k'Yisrael. MiPL, MiPL, Yevorach Kol Yisrael. MiPL, MiPL, Yevorach Kol Yisrael. Ein hadur kadonai ve'ein vatik ve'ein amram. Ein zaka katorah ve'ein chachameha k'Yisrael. MiPL, MiPL, Yevorach Kol Yisrael. MiPL, MiPL, Yevorach Kol Yisrael. Ein tahor kadonai ve'ein yachid ve'ein amram. Ein kabira katorah ve'ein lamdaneha k'Yisrael. MiPL, MiPL, Yevorach Kol Yisrael. MiPL, MiPL, Yevorach Kol Yisrael. Ein podek Adonai ve'ein tzadik ve'ein amram. Ein kedusha katorah ve'ein tomecheha k'Yisrael. MiPL, MiPL, Yevorach Kol Yisrael. MiPL, MiPL, Yevorach Kol Yisrael. Good Shabbos, everyone.
Good Shabbos.
So great to celebrate Shabbat with you. Let's continue. We'll sing Shalom Aleichem as we walk out and head out to Kiddush and Motzi.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Asharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.